In this series of videos, I tackle some of the major repair work that was needed on my van. This video covers removing all the rust from underneath the van, the chassis and some of the front, getting it all treated and making sure the van will live a little bit longer. Lots of things have been added to the bottom of the van for its previous job, and it was these that were now starting to cause issues, rotting out and starting to spread down the chassis. So if I didn't catch it now, it was going to start causing some structural issues. Just going around all of the rust spots that aren't too bad with this Corust. Now I used to use Genelite, but this doesn't seem to be as good as the Hammerite stuff, which is surprising because usually Hammerite isn't as good as what everyone makes out. But it does, it goes blue like this, and then it goes dark blue, and you just see it completely go away. I could probably go one more lock-in pin height-wise on the ramp, but I don't know, the higher it goes, the more treacherous it becomes, isn't it? Yeah, I think I'll leave it there and I'll just make do with the space I've got. Now that I can get under here, I'm under the, let me get this mask off so I can talk. You got the lower sections like here. This looks really bad, and when you're just looking underneath the van, if I can get the other side of it, it looks real bad. But now that I'm under it and I can get a proper look, a lot of it's surface rust, and this paint is still glossy. It's nowhere near as bad as I thought it was. Here, this is another section that I thought was bad. That's probably the worst bit of the whole thing. But the whole midsection here, yeah, it's dirty, but it's not that bad. It just needs a good clean up, I think. So what I'm going to do, I'll probably still give it a good lather of paint, just so it's got that extra layer. But like even here, this is the floor of the cab now. It's mint. There's nothing wrong with it. Got little tiny bits like here, surface rust, but it's nowhere near as bad as I initially thought it was, and I'm really chuffed about that, I'll be honest. Right, this inner sill isn't great, so I'm going to pump that full of wax oil. But yeah, I genuinely thought I was going to get under it and find huge sections of the chassis just rotted out completely, and I was going to have to get plates and God knows what. But I don't know, I'm guessing because of the underslung tanks and all the trim either side of the van, this area hasn't really got much in the way of weather damage. Hello. I don't get out of my face. And there he goes again, back off to another unit. The dreaded gearbox. If we go down the other end, underneath here, this is the area where it gets bad. So there is a plate that wasn't painted. All this area is where the air suspension is. There's bag number 1, bag number 2. None of this seems to have any paint on it, and it's this lack of care from the ambulance conversion that is why the rear section is quite bad. Like, see, you've got like a C-shaped clamp here that goes right onto the chassis, bare metal, so that's allowed it to spread down the chassis. Well done. It's a real shame that they didn't just think, right, let's put a bit of Hammerite at least on the bloody thing, but they didn't. What can you do? Hello. That bush is a bit gone. Jesus, that's my anti-roll. Right, okay, I think I've got some spare bushes in the back. That's a job while I'm under it. This big block here, you might be wondering what it is. It's a Telma kinetic retarder or something. I can't remember the bloody name of it now. Basically, that clamps onto the prop shaft and acts like another brake. And I'm told it also, with this electrical box here, I'm told it also has regenerative charge, so it puts a charge back into the batteries Whether that works or not, I don't know. There's a big electrical box there. Never really looked at it. But this thing saved my life. Coming down off the Alps, my brakes cooked, I went really spongy, and if it wasn't for the fact that this thing kept kicking in and pulling the van and slowing it, genuinely I'd have gone off the edge of a cliff. So it's a big old lump, and I do beach it sometimes when I'm off-roading, but it can stay. All the worst spots had the flaky paint stripped off. I got a strip and clean wheel that got it right back to bare metal. Then I treated it with the Corus stuff that I'd bought, which was what all this blue thing is all about. Really mental stuff, that. And then once that dried and gone off, it was time to get some paint on it. It's now about 1:30 in the morning. I've got most of the bad paint. That's better. Most of the bad paint blasted off the body using an air gun. I've treated a lot of it with the Corust stuff. That's now treating it and it's all starting to turn like a dark blacky blue colour. There's not really a lot I can do left tonight. You know, that's got to work its magic, and then tomorrow I can get under there and start getting some primer on it, and then paint, and then wax oil. But yeah, for now it's time to, hopefully get a shower. I've got to figure out how I'm going to do that on the ramp with things like the bucket underneath. I think the bucket will fit underneath. So yeah, get a shower. Tomorrow I'm going to drop the water tank off it. One, because I want to fit something onto the water tank. I want to fit a drain that I never got around to doing last time. Had the part, missed a thing, had to get the tank up, and I just so I want to modify the tank, drop it, and then I can get underneath the tank and get the last few little bits done. But yeah, night 2, and I'm calling it a night. I'm tired. When you're busy tearing your van apart, but you also have laundry to do. Right, I hope you can hear me, because I'm in the Mini and it's pretty loud in here. Just got down and got myself some primer, some top coat, some wax oil, PU sealer, some pads and stuff, basically all the stuff I need to strip the chassis down on the ambulance. But I've got the Mini back on the road, so I can actually get about and get some stuff, which is really helpful. It's been off the road for a little while, thanks to a certain garage in Nuneaton. And now I've just got myself a jack of potato from a place I used to get from when I worked around this area like 5 years ago, and the guy's still there. And he still does the Woody special, which is amazing, so I'm going to chomp on that in a minute, but I've just gone the wrong way. At the minute I'm doing 25, 30 now, and I feel like I'm doing 60. It just puts a smile on your face every time you plant your foot or go into a corner. You can go into any corner at any speed you want, and it will go around the corner. I love Minis, they're just so much fun. This being the van though, however, I do have to keep remembering that, you know, it's load in the back, and if I throw it into a corner, all my paint and all my new stuff is just going to go blah. But oh, it's just so much fun. And again, overtake. Until someone cuts you up, and then throw it into a corner just through the lights. Take all this lot. Oh, there goes my paint. I love this van. Oh, suspension's not as soft as that. I forgot about that. Oh, suspension, well, there isn't really any. I can now get to, sorry, there's a bit crap footage in here at the minute because I've got the lights and cameras wandering. But yeah, around here where the water tank sits, it's pretty bad. Up there, for example, that's pretty bad up there. It's not gone through, but needs sorting all the same. The only thing is, back here there is still some residual wax oil, so I'm gonna have to get all that off before I can start painting, which, if you ever tried doing that, it's a bastard. This is so boring. Seriously? Oh my god. It's never ending. It's absolutely never ending. It smells horrible under here. It just smells like this shit. Just dead van. I've still got to get the airbags off. Check the seats on them. Oh, there's so much to do. And we're on Wednesday already. It's a bit of a mammoth task, this really is. But I'm gonna focus on the chassis today. I'm not gonna bother with the airbags, bushes, or handbrake. That stuff needs to be done really when the back's lifted up and the wheels are off. So I'll tackle all of that, I think, once the paint's done. Yeah, I think that's the one for that. I really wish I'd bought spray now. There's equipment here for to spray, but I thought, oh no, do you know what? Let's make it easier for myself and buy brush on. That's not easier. It really isn't. I could have just got under it and it'd have been brilliant. But now I've got a brush on primer, brush on top coat, and brush on wax oil. That's a lot of work. But nobody sat here moaning about it. Crack on. La la la, my van's no longer gonna rust. There's a spot up here where they've put metal clips onto this seam of the chassis, and that's what's been holding like battery cables on and stuff that's all along the top here. Just rather than looking at my ugly mug, I'll just show you. Where's the light? God, this is hard to record. So these are battery cables, and there's a few other different cables and stuff, and they've all been held on by these that were attached to this seam. And obviously, as you can see, not a good idea, because they're all up there. Mud and dirt has collected between them, held on there, and now, I mean, it's pretty bad here. This is probably the worst bit. So what I'm going to do now is scrape all this right back, treat it, and then these are going to get screwed to the aluminium of the box from now on. They're not going to go back on here because it's just asking for trouble, as you can see. It's not as bad as I thought it was. It's manageable, which is nice because it doesn't mean my van's rusting to bits. Which, being a sprinter, I'm really surprised about. But yeah, it's actually took a bit of the work out. I thought I was going to have to go down the whole run of the van, which involves taking certain aspects down, the fuel tank, air suspension, all the cables where they run from the battery tray to the front. Just loads and loads of stuff's under there. But all the midsection right towards the back wheels it's great. It's all the paint's still on there. It's still glossy. It's not. There's a few bits of surface rust that I'm going to treat, but I'm not going to go scraping that thing back. It's good. It's just going to get a nice good coat of wax oil, and it'll be done. So that's like 2/3 of the van that I don't have to do the whole scraping down and the hard, disgusting work that makes me wear this crap. Once it gets to the back wheels, slightly different story. It's yeah, there's a few bad spots, but nothing that's not fixable, and it looks like it's relatively catchable. There's not going to be any plates needed. There's not going to be any weld work needed on there. Yeah, it's going to be blast it back, treat it, prime it up, paint it, wax oil it. So overall, I'm really chuffed. I've got a lot to do this week, and that's helped me quite a lot because I'm already a day out, having stayed at the Boondocker Bash a day too late. Right, that being said, there's still some pretty nasty grotty work to do under there, so I'm going to get on with it. After a good few hours, I had it all stripped back and treated, ready for paint. And then my old workmate Josh decided to pop in to give me a hand.
Hello.
Oh, Lance looks evil.
Hey. YouTubes.
How are you getting on? Oh, look at it. It's a work of art, mate.
Hi YouTubes. Hey.
Oh, you've got it on my bag.
Oh.
You've tripped all over my bag.
Oh, get it on your bag.
I had red oxide primed all this prior to the black paint. Just forgot to get the camera out for that bit. But that was the chassis all done, barring around the arches. The wheels needed to come off for that bit. But we both got covered in black paint, so we decided to give it a go on the spray gun anyway, and it spread pretty well. So the rest of the van around the front and behind the headlights and everything, we just sprayed on. It was much easier, much quicker. Yeah, closed down. They're just going to stink of paint, aren't they?
I wish you'd take your clothes down.
This is not the time to play. The next day, with the rear wheels off, ready to do the handbrake and the air suspension stuff, it also allowed me to start doing the bits in the arches, which were actually the worst. So, all this bit here as well, the whole box of the ambulance is aluminium. So that's saving me quite a lot of effort. That's never going to rust, so I don't need to wax oil any of that or paint any of that. That's fine. However, that there, going all the way down to the front, all the way down to the back, is the chassis. And that is the van. That's made of steel, and obviously Mercedes are pretty well known for being rusty bitches. And my one is no exception. This is all paint that's just now gone, exposed the metal, and now it's starting to blow. So yeah, I'm going to catch that before I start getting any holes in my chassis. What doesn't help is the air suspension place that fit the air suspension to the ambulances didn't treat the brackets that go on, and they clamp right around the chassis, and that is where the worst of the rust is. It took 10 minutes to put some treatment on the metal, and this van would have been perfect all the way along like it is further down there. But no, some idiot come, put some air suspension on, didn't treat the metal properly, and now we've got this mess. So the chassis area running along the arches got the same treatment, then some more important chores were done. Lance knows what time it is, don't you? What time is it, Lance? Is it walkies time? Is it walkies time? Yeah, it is. Now what was left to do is go along the whole chassis and around all the arches on the front and give it a big thick coat of wax oil. Wax oil. Fetch. No, I know it's there. Ah. The pile of crap that come off the van was unreal. It would almost be classed as weight saving. That is rust and dirt that's come off my van. The underneath of the ramp was clean before I put the van on there, so this is all off. This is all definitely off the ambulance. It's vast. So much of it. Rust is heavy. There's another 4 of these. And that was the chassis and the underside done. All the rust removed, treated, red oxide primered, painted, then wax oiled. Should now see the van through for many more years to come.